Hi everyone, hope everyone is well. In this video I'm unboxing the Bitter Woods from Compass Games. This is the second printing, this is the designer edition, and I've played a lot of Bulge games, but I don't recall ever playing this game, and I saw it from a private seller, quite a good price, so I thought I'd give it a try. It did come brand new in shrink, and I thought as I've never played it, I would film as to what you get in the box. And as I do so, I'll give some initial thoughts and impressions to the game. And I've got a table ready for it to be played. So pretty much after unboxing it, I'll probably clip the counters. I would imagine I'll need clipping. And then get it onto the table. And so probably the best place to start, I think, is just take the lid off. And let's have a look and see what you get inside. So if we have a look at the back of the box to start with. It is a 2 to 4 player game. Unit scale, regiment and brigades. Map scale is 2 miles. Time scale approximately 12 hours per turn. Note contains new and revised game scenarios. Playing time seems to be sort of saying between a couple of hours to 12 hours, something like that. Complexity is 5 out of 10. Solitaire suitability 7. It is a 2-map game, so you need a little bit of space to play it. And yeah, let's have a look at what you get. So if I just take the lid off here. So we've got our dice. We have our player charts and tables, double-sided. I'm just going to turn this box around to be easier. We've got the rulebook, rules of play second printing, player's handbook second printing. So that's the rules of play, that's the player's handbook, and we'll have a look at both of those in detail. Then we have here allied setup card. So got all the counters laid out and then the hex that they all fit into for the setup. That's for erasing the bulge. So you would imagine that's probably one of the scenarios. Expansion card. Here we've got the campaign game turn track. And looks very neat and tidy. Nicely laid out. Getting a little bit of, I've got a light on because it's quite dark outside. So a little bit of flair from that. We get a bunch of these. I won't go through them all, but this is Patterns Relief of Baston scenario, and these look like scenario setups, and we've got more order of appearance here, for example. More scenario setups or scenario notes. Very nice. The German order of appearance. We'll have a look at the counters separately and so forth. So then we're into the counter sheets, and I'll have a separate look at those. 3 counter sheets, nice thick counters. Excellent. And then the maps, so we've got the 2 maps, they're paper maps. And I'll be playing them under Plexi, of course, and we'll have a closer look at those as well. So probably the best place to start next is the rulebooks, I think. So let's make a start with the rules of play. Full colour rulebook, as you can see there. And I'm just going to change that's better. It looks to be sort of 24-page rulebook, this one. But if we look here, we're only at, forgetting the optional rules just for a minute, the core rules, the basic rules, probably 11 pages, maybe less because of the introduction. And then a whole bunch of optional rules. Normally, I'll learn the basic rules first, but I do normally play games with all the optional rules. And I've got a few Battle of the Bulge games in my collection. all at different levels of complexity. But I can instantly sort of get a feel for the fact it's 11 pages, probably just fit this in the lower end of medium level of complexity. So we've got a sequence of play. Just going to scan through this quickly. Supply phase, interdiction phase for the Allies, German reserve phase, German movement phase, German combat and demolition phase. That would be, one would imagine, for the bridges. Mechanised exploitation phase for the Germans, German bridge construction phase. Then we're into the Allied phase. It's quite straightforward. Movement. Nothing on zones of control yet, but we would imagine so. Oh, zones of control, here it is. Stacking. No more than 3 ground units of any type. May end movement stacked in the same hex, so it's not a massive hex stacking game. Improvised positions, fortifications, combat. Looks straightforward. We've got some examples here as well. Everything looks neat and tidy in terms of its layout. Now, we imagine that this quality of the rulebook will be pretty good. I mean, it's been through quite a few versions now, so in terms of the accuracy of an explanation of the rules, I will have a look to see if there's a narrator. Actually, normally, when I play a lot of games, to start with, I don't look for a narrator. I normally play the game straight out the box with the rulebook as is. Artillery, supply, bridges, okay, you'd expect that for the Bulge. It looks really straightforward. Like I said, 11 pages. Okay. And then we're into the optional rules. This is the thing I'm going to be really interested in. To see the sort of, especially the more thematic, historical, chrome rules to do with this particular battle. We've got a Piper alternative there. I can straight away see on the there. We've got rules for Piper and Scorseni. That'll be interesting to see how the designer has interpreted that part of the history into the game. Then we've got some variant rules. Okay. Quite a few of those. Okay. So, oh great, and then examples of play. Now I've talked about this in my other videos. I like to learn games by going through the examples of play. And what I mean by that is I will put the game on the table exactly as examples. I'll work through the examples of play. Helps me learn the game mechanics. And I'll go through them in quite detail. So I like the fact that there are examples of play here. And then some design notes. Fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, then we're into the player's handbook. Okay. And this is where our scenarios are. Okay, so we've got quite a few scenarios by the initial look. So we've got a 6-turn tournament scenario. Now, I will be honest, I don't play tournament games. I don't play war games in any competitive nature at all. But I normally quite like the scenarios, so certainly be quite interested in trying that out. And there's a 6-turn tournament scenario and an 8-turn tournament scenario. Now, I think I'm going to go on a stretch here. I think I've watched a video of this designer talk about the tournament scenario, so I'd be quite interested to see that. Maybe find that video again on YouTube. I can't remember whose channel that's on. I apologise. Then we've got Patterns Relief of Baston, scenario for the 22nd of December. It's hard to do a Bulge game without Baston scenario. Von Rundstedt's plan, 16th of December. Everything, again, looks nicely laid out. This is definitely, you can tell, I mean, this is a great example. It's quite a block of text, so it's going to take some reading. Extended campaign game. And to be honest with you, I quite enjoy that. When I'm not playing war games, I'm reading about history, so reading is a good thing for me. Camp Group Pipers, alternative historical. That'd be interesting. And then we've got some artillery in the Ardennes. Bit of background about the history. Oh, that'd be okay. Great. Some nice chunky, and a bibliography. Fantastic. I'm just going to quickly scan through that. Yes, I can see some of those books I've got in my collection. Some of them I don't. So always interested in bibliographies. Yeah. Oh, excellent. Okay. So yeah, very detailed. Looks nice and neat and tidy. Full colour. Looks like a good job, and I'll enjoy reading that. So brilliant. Next, let's have a look at the counters. Now this is quite unusual. It's unusual for a counter sheet to be coloured black. It's very strange, but the counters look really tidy. I can see the cut is very clean and nothing's being cut off, and the readability of the counters looks really good. So anyone who follows my channel will know I have to wear glasses when I'm playing war games and for a lot of other things, and truth be told. So readability of counters is absolutely crucial for me, and they're nice and big. All the font's nice and big, very easily readable. Everything looks neat and tidy. Obviously all the counters have the relevant NATO symbols. They look a nice, tidy, good job. And then on the back there. I can't remember how many counters it said in the back. I can't remember now, and I've put the box over near the tables. But not a huge number of counters for the game, which fits because it did say stacking limit was 3 counters, 3 combat unit counters. This is unusual. A dark red. These are I'm gonna say British counters. Looking at the divisional insignias, it's unusual, but nicely done. I can read all the text, even with the sort of dark wine red, I would say, colour. Yeah, they look good. There's our SS Piper. Okay. And then back there, nice tidy job. And then we've got our Wehrmacht counters and our American counters as well. They look nice. I like the interesting for the armour counters. We've got a little bit of artwork for the Allied tanks and for the German armour as well. Panthers and Stugs. Is that a Stug? No, it's a Jagdpanther. And Panzer IVs, and they look good. Yeah, they look really nice. They look good. Yeah, very readable. Look like they're going to punch out quite well. I've always liked the counters that Compass Games make. They always punch really nice, really tidy in terms of the readability and the finishing. And the it's sort of hard to tell on the camera, but they look quite chunky. Technical wargaming term that for you. When describing counters, look really good. Yeah, really happy with those. So I think we'll have a look at maybe the maps. So I've roughly laid the 2 maps out next to each other. This particular table is the table that I use for playing. Where it could hold a 2 map game, sort of just a little shy of 6 foot by 4 foot, and it fits on the table quite nicely. There is an overlap on the printing of the 2 maps, so they'll line up better than I've just crudely put them on place. And obviously I'll actually play with plexi, but I can instantly see the definition of the contents of the hexes looks very clear, looks very functional. I can see the various rivers and waterways. I can see the content. I can see the hex numbers, which is good for someone like myself who can sometimes with some games has to can struggle a little bit with hex numbers. There's a few here maybe. Yeah, I can read that fine actually. I'm bed a little bit closer to the table, and we've got some gameplay information, including the turn track here on the left hand side. Yeah, looks nice and neat and tidy. Very, like I said, very, very functional. Quite pleasing, I think, to the eye. It was quite good. I can imagine with the counters on when I'm starting to play, I think it will look great on the table. And generally speaking, in terms of the durability of paper maps and compass, it's very good. Very good. Certainly all the games I've got from compass, I've got quite a few now in my collection, is very good. So yeah, looks good. It's interesting from a visual point of view, the completely white hexes, which one would imagine completely clear in terms of the content is white. I know there's this sort of conception people have in their head that the Ardennes forest is completely wooded, and from everything I've read, I've never been. Would like to go one day, but never been. But from what I've read, that's generally not the case, as much as you might think. And I'm just looking at the map. Yeah, everything looks very clear to me, just on initial look. So yeah, what I shall do is get this tidy up a bit and get this and line it up properly, and then get it under put some plexi sheeting over the top. But first impressions look very good. So in terms of first impressions, it looks really good. The rulebooks look good. I think it's definitely, and everything I've read about it, this game just feel to fit into the medium and maybe even the slightly lower end of medium level of complexity. Counter sheets look wonderful. I like all the player aids. I can imagine a scenario where probably what I'm going to do next is get the maps under the plexi, punch and clip all the counters, and then go through the rule books, go through those examples of play, and then start with one of the scenarios. I'm not sure which scenario I'll start with. I'll probably go through the player's handbook and have a read over the different scenarios as to which one I pick. And obviously the one I'm probably going to be the most interested in will probably be basically the whole campaign, let's call it that. That's normally the sort of the Bulge scenario I enjoy the most. But I'm certainly interested in playing all the scenarios, and it looks to be a good variety, which means that you can tailor that to your needs. So if you, depending on how much time you want to play the game, that's something that's very welcome. It's actually one of the reasons I bought this game was because the other Bulge games that I've got in my collection, sort of fit into the more higher level of complexity, and I'm really thinking of The Last Gamble, which is also by Compass Games, and I absolutely love that game. And what I would say, to play the full campaign, it's a serious time investment, and from everything I read on about this game, this is a lot less so. So I'm quite interested to see if it fits into that spot of maybe we'll come to get to the table a bit more often, because of the time investment is just that bit lower. But we'll see. Very much looking forward to getting it onto the table and playing through. Looking forward to reading through the rule books, in particular that player's handbook. Very interested in that. If you have played Bitterwood, the Battle of the Bulge, please leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be playing through now over the next few weeks, etc. And then looking forward to doing a full review as well. Once I've played through all the scenarios, probably a couple of times, to be honest with you, before I review games. So please do leave a comment in the comment section. And thanks a lot for watching, as always. Thank you.